Hi, I'm Patrick Nairn, and I have a question which you might be asking right now. And if you're not asking, there's someone that you know who's probably asking this question. And that is, do I need a digital SLR to look professional on camera, or is a webcam good enough when I want to speak live online? Now, if you're asking this question, I want to just share with you that it's a fair question. It's a good question. And I will get to the answer really quickly in hopefully under a minute for you so that if that's all you wanted to know, I'm serving you and you can now get on to the things that are more important in life. But I just want to say that I have wrestled with this many times myself on my journey to becoming a better photographer because I always thought that the gear was what made you a better photographer. But I realized that what I was really asking for was wisdom, clarity, and of course, certainty. It's about making the right choice for my business. Now, ultimately, the answer to this question is that a digital SLR, or DSLR for short, when set up appropriately, will definitely return a measurably higher quality of image than when you compare to, say, a webcam or a standard camera. Now, this has been borne out by the professional film industry and what we see on television. Blockbuster movies are not made on mobile phones and webcams. They may make some aspects of them on these webcams or tools just to prove a point or because there's a better way to get closer to a scenario and to show it from a perspective that tells the story in a different way. But we don't see those professional industries using that kind of gear because there's some limitations. So I just want to throw that out there. And for my clients that ask me this type of question, I tell them, get a digital SLR. And I give them a specific one or two to look at depending on what their needs are. Of course, we have a more in-depth conversation, but I say where you want to make an investment, and particularly with some of these digital SLRs, having been in production now for a long time, some of the bodies that are made today, and just to quickly point to NASA for a moment, NASA uses a specific digital SLR body, and they've been using it for many, many years now. And it's a camera that you can no longer buy because it's no longer in normal production. And it's a camera that, as I said, they've been using for many years. Many professional photographers have used the camera bodies that they're using for more than a decade today, and they still rely on those cameras. And they only switch when they have to. Because for the real professional, for the person who understands the output, they know this isn't really a question about the gear. It is a question about, do I lack or have the wisdom to make the choice? Do I lack or have the clarity around what is involved in making that choice? And do I have the certainty that this choice is going to get the results that I want? And those three things are going to help you whenever you're making any kind of decision or purchase where you're asking for the best or the right outcome. So if we can start off there by just saying that I've answered for those of you now who want to know what to go for, get a DSLR and understand that you're opening up a world of options and opportunities for yourself, and that camera per camera, you're going to get a much easier image to manage in so many different ways. Of course, there are people who would argue differently. That's okay. I've been doing this for a while. I jumped into digital cameras back in 2001 when I got my first digital camera. So I've been doing this for a while and I know a lot about them. And I can share with you that the things that I've learned over those years have helped me greatly, and they've helped other photographers to make great decisions. And so I'm basing it on that history and that knowledge of having worked with cameras for a long time. And I also worked with film before that. So for those of you who want to understand why it's worth listening to me on this, it's a few decades of working in this industry of creating great images, crafting great images, and understanding what are the essential aspects of getting an image to be great. And also, as I said, the film industries around the world and television industries around the world back up what I'm saying. They don't use mobile phones to make their blockbusters. One of the things that I want you to perhaps take away from this is that when you use the right kind of camera and a high quality camera and a high quality lens to go with it, yes, it is a bit more of an investment. Yes, it is a bit more of a learning curve for my coaches and my experts. Yes, you have to learn a bit more about the technical side of getting an image recorded and to give the best. But when that image is shown to the right person, it makes a big, big difference, a significant difference, such that that person is making a decision based on the way that you come across, the way that you show up on camera. And very often you can tell that a person has made an investment, not just because of the way that it looks, but because of the way that they are conveying themselves when they're speaking live online. And it's this thing that words cannot easily put into any kind of statement or expression. It's not a words alone thing. We need to see it and feel it in order to connect with it. And so this really isn't, when asked, it's not really a question about the actual setup or how that setup contributes to the standards that they're expecting, but it's really a question that connects to a more deeper meaning, which is I'm trying to convey to my audience that my value is a part of the whole process. It's the way that I choose to look is a part of what I'm doing in terms of serving. It's about my business decisions overall. It's showing you that from a marketing perspective, I understand you. I know that for some customers, what they want is this level, and they will never be happy with any other level. So this is more of a question of understanding who you really want to work with. It's having the wisdom to know that your client is going to expect for you to come across in a particular way, for you to show up on camera in a particular way. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm following that old African proverb, which is that if we want to go fast, we can go alone. But if we want to go far, we are going to journey together with people. And that's really the point. Have you identified your audience with the wisdom that helps them to understand that you are the right kind of person to journey with? Because they don't want to go fast, they want to go far. And if they want to go far, they want to journey with someone who they're going to have a great time with on that journey. And so this is about the wisdom of discernment, being able to understand what you are really offering your audience. So when you ask these types of questions, or when I get asked this type of question, I realize what my client is asking me. They're not just asking me to choose or help them choose a camera. They're asking me a question that goes deeper into the journey that they really want, the outcome, the destination they want to get to, and who they want to travel with. Who do they want to invite along on that journey? And so this is what we need to address with this question. Yes, a DSLR is better, but who are you looking for? Are you looking for people who are going to appreciate that digital SLR look, the time it takes for you to put into that digital SLR look? And finally, do they want the outcomes that they perceive you being able to give them or help them to gain from that digital SLR look? So this really comes down to an alignment of how you present yourself and the offer that you're presenting, and who you want to connect with, who you want to journey with. So let's think of it in those terms. And then we can put away that question about the setup, because the setup almost doesn't matter until we've identified this, right? Because this is a common thing in marketing. Most of us rush to build a website, or we rush to get a slogan, or we rush to get a logo without really getting the clarity around who it is that we're talking to and how we need to talk to them. So we need that wisdom element as the first part of it. And then we need that clarity part of it, which is once I now know who I'm talking to, and I know that that person is looking for a certain level, then I know that I need to choose a person who likes to see and engage with a mobile phone. That's okay for them. They don't care. If they see someone that looks like they're on a DSLR or a high production setup, they're not going to connect with that person. And that's what the clarity gives you. It gives you that ability to really understand that the audience is where we should be starting. Do we really understand our audience? That's the first thing. And I know that my audience are looking to sell what we classify as a high ticket offer, or for the word that I prefer to use, is a premium offer. They want to give a premium experience in that journey, and that they are looking for the kind of client who is willing to invest to get that experience. Then everything becomes easier. It becomes a little bit more intentional, and we understand exactly how to show up for that client. And this deals with the certainty aspect of it, because we become certain now that we know who we're talking to, we know how to talk to them. And so we can become really certain about the way that we show up, because our audience is already showing up for us. And so this takes away all of that guessing, am I enough? Do I need that level of confusion in my life? No, we just want the discernment to be able to make that decision. And then it will be helpful to have a framework from which to be able to make that decision. So the next time that someone asks you that type of question, I want you to step back for a minute and ask, what really are they asking me? Are they asking me about me and my journey, where I'm going, what I want to achieve? Can we make this journey together? Or are they just simply asking you for a quick fix? Because if you're into the quick fixes, then this isn't really the right journey for you. If you're looking for someone who's going to just tell you, pick this camera and that's the reason, and it's better than all the rest, then that's not the kind of journey that I think is going to work for me either. Because I know that almost everything is going to come down to that simple view of the world. And the world is not simple at all. In some ways it is, but navigating it isn't just a simple one-trick pony approach to everything. There's a bit more nuance. And so I'm saying to you that if you're looking for a journey where you want to work with someone who will start off by helping you with getting great lighting, and then they journey you from just the lighting to getting the right type of equipment in your studio, and then they journey with you to learning how to speak with an audience so that you can grow that connection as you move through your conversation. And that finally you want to really make a lasting impact for them. That takes more of a journey. And this is why some apprenticeships going back in past centuries used to take years. A person would be an apprentice with someone like, and I just throw out a name, Leonardo da Vinci. You'd be an apprentice with someone like that maestro for years. You would take time to learn because they had so much to journey you through. And once you got to the end of it, you could walk away saying, I studied under the great, and you could insert whatever name you want to. This is why degree programs take on average about 3 years. There's something wonderful about spending time and investing with someone who's going to help you to journey to that bigger outcome. And you're going to get to the outcome that gets you in the place where you want to be. And your audience is going to get to where they want to be. So let's not make it about quick fixes. Let's make it about the final outcome. Who do you want to attract? Who do you want to work with? Who do you want this journey to be with? Because I'm about the journey, and I'm looking for people who want to get to the position where they can actually say, I'm a confident public speaker for this live online era, because we are in a live online era right now. And so I help people to get there. And so I have an event coming up on the 16th of June where I'm going to invite you, I'm going to extend the invitation to you. For those of you who are looking for a journey and want to journey with someone towards excellence, then step in by clicking the link, which is going to be somewhere around this video. That's going to help you to become that live online confident speaker. That's going to help you to be able to share your message live online. And the reason why we need to think about this today is the one thing that's worked over all of time since human beings have been speaking to each other is speaking to each other. Speaking to each other, word of mouth as we call it, is one of the best forms of advertising. It's one of the best forms of marketing and reaching your audience. because all the heavy lifting has been done for you. And today that exists in the forms of events, online meetings and podcasts. And so this is where we want to gear you up so that you can actually take your marketing to the next level by speaking to warm audiences who want to hear what you have to say. And you can borrow the credibility from the host. So if that's what you're looking for, that's what you're looking to learn, then go ahead and click the link and join this event on the 16th of June, when we'll be able to go through and take you through a process of attracting the right people who want to journey with you. That's all I wanted to cover with you today. And I know that it doesn't go as fully into the topic as I would love to be able to, but that's one of the things that is going to be beneficial for you when you come to this event. I want to say thank you very much for the time that you've invested in sharing this short presentation with me. And I say short because my presentations are not normally this short. But I want to thank you very much for investing this time, because there's so many things you could be doing, and I appreciate you. I never take that for granted. Thank you very much. There are 1,000,001 things you could be doing, and time we never get back. But as always, I want to say thank you, and I leave you with peace. See you soon.